Hi everyone. So there's been a few people asking about doing voice recording for feedback, and I thought I'd just make a quick wee run through of a way that you could go about doing that I've tried out a wee bit recently and have found to work pretty smoothly. There's an extension called Mote, which has been created to allow you to embed voice comments in Google Docs, Sheet Slides, and in Classroom posts. So I'll take a few moments to go over how you would find it and how you might go about using it. If you look online for the Mote extension, you can find it in the Chrome Web Store, where you'll see a little icon up here that says Add to Chrome. Now obviously this will only work if you're using the Google Chrome web browser and you're signed in. You'd want to obviously be signed in as your school username, and it would obviously also work in a Chromebook, but just be conscious that if you're using a different browser, you won't be able to add it. So just keep that in mind. So if you've clicked Add to Chrome here, you'll find it will appear up on your browser somewhere along this area here with a little icon that looks like a purple dot with a little M inside it. Now, that little icon, if you click on it, allows you some options, so you can turn it on or off. And one of the options you'll find in there is a voice transcription. Now, Mote gives you the option to automatically transcribe what you've said to text, as well as entering a recording of your voice. I personally prefer to keep that switched off because I find that the voice transcription sometimes doesn't quite pick up what I'm saying correctly, and I feel that the audio is perfectly adequate for the feedback. However, you might want to leave it switched on. You can give it a try, it's up to you. Certainly I think it's fairly redundant, but that's, as I say, it's up to you. It's by default switched on though, so you'd have to turn that off if you didn't want to use it. Now, what I've done is I've just created an example assignment on Classroom here, just to kind of go through this process. So there are a couple of places where we can leave a comment. The first is if we were to view the assignment, go to the instructions, you'll see you've got the class comments box underneath the assignment. So if you had maybe realised that you'd forgotten to mention something, or there was a bit of a misunderstanding from your pupils about the instructions you'd left, you could just click the little icon here, and that would allow you to record some feedback for the pupils or further instructions. When you click Done, it will have a wee think. It will come up with this URL, and then you just post it. Now, if you have the Mote extension installed, it's really seamless, because when you click on that, and that would allow you to record some feedback, it will just play the audio in the actual comment box without doing anything else. Do be aware though that until we have got to a point where we can whitelist Mote and maybe even push it out to all students so it's automatically installed in their Chrome browser, that's not quite how it opens up when they go to listen to the audio. So I'll show you that in a wee moment. So that's one place you might leave a comment. If you look at student work, this is where I think it's going to be of most utility. I've got an example assignment where I've just attached some files. One of them has actually been used for another thing, so it's already got some comments attached to it. And so if I decided that we wanted to leave a comment, say for example that a pupil had maybe said something a bit unclear and you wanted them to expand upon it, you can highlight that text and either click the comment button at the top here, or you can use the short key for making comments, which is Control-Alt-M, to start a new comment. The short key is quite useful because the whole idea is to speed up your workflow, so the less clicking about you're having to do, the better. So we can click the wee Mote icon here. We could record some feedback for our pupils in there, so that will record whatever we're saying to them. You'll see that you get 90 seconds duration, so you do have to be reasonably concise. And when you're done, that's fine. It will think for a wee minute, then it will pop up with that. You can just click comment. So again, we see this from a teacher point of view because I have the Mote extension. Just a little box there. In there, so that will record whatever we're saying to them, and it plays back that comment that I'd left. So from a pupil's point of view, it appears slightly differently. I'll come back to that in a moment. The last point I would make is that if you wanted to leave a comment about maybe the assignment as a whole, rather than about a specific thing, rather than leaving a comment that's tagged onto something in here, you could actually just go down to the private comment box for the assignment and then click the little start recording button, and you can leave a private comment for the whole assignment in there. So you've got a couple of different places where you can use this in Classroom, and it also builds into the comments function in Google Slides and Google Sheets. So it's a really handy way of leaving feedback that's built in. Now, if we have a quick look at how that appears to a student, incidentally, this is kind of the student view, and it hasn't been turned in, so it's maybe worth just reminding you that a pupil can attach work, and it allows you to see it at any point from when they've attached it. You don't need to wait till they've turned it in. But if I was this pupil here, I can see, okay, there's the voice note, but because in this pupil account I don't have the Mote extension installed, what will come up instead here is a little URL, and when I click on it, instead of playing in the comment box here, it just opens up this landing page in the Mote website, and that would allow you to record some feedback, and that's where it will play back. So it's not quite as seamless, but it's still pretty quick. And for the pupil, if they open that assignment back up and look at that, the document where you've left your comment there, you'll see that you've got a little click to hear my voice note from Mote. And if they open that again, it takes them to this landing page. Leave a comment for the pupil where they can hear that. So, as I say, maybe not quite as smooth as it would be if they had the Mote extension installed, but it still works perfectly well. You'll notice there's some links here to another one called Talk and Comment, which is a different extension doing a similar thing. It's not quite as smooth because you have to manually copy the web address and paste it in, and I also find it kind of messes up your voice. So I've kind of moved away from using that and started just using Mote by itself. Couple of wee things that you might want to be aware of. The current situation with Mote is it's really very recently been released, and it's still in what's called beta stage, so there's still kind of changes being made to it. The plan, I believe, is that the voice comments will be saved for 12 months. So if you wanted to have something that was going to be kept for a matter of years, it may be that this is not the ideal solution for you. But certainly in the short term, for most cases, it's unlikely that we're going to need pupils to access these comments after 12 months. So I would say that for me, that's totally fine. If you did want a more extensive duration of your records of what you'd said, you might want to try switching on the transcription, and that would ensure that in the comments, a record, a transcribed record of your comment was kept. In terms of privacy, the only thing I would say is because of the way this works, the comment is found by our completely randomly generated URL. So it's incredibly unlikely that somebody would be able to find a comment that you left without you giving them that link. I think the general figure they gave was something like 150 and so many septillion. So it's incredibly unlikely that somebody's going to be able to guess that URL. But I would say that for anything like this, you would want to keep comments so that they don't have any personal information in them, just from a point of view of being kind of secure. Even if somebody was to get the voice comment, they wouldn't be able to see the document it reflected. So just avoid mentioning names or any personal sensitive information in comments to make sure that you're being as secure as possible. And that really, I think, is about it. It's a pretty straightforward extension to use. Do feel free to let me know if you have tried it and let me know how you get on with it, or if you've got any questions. The Mote site itself has a great FAQ section and has a lot of tutorials on it, so if you'd like to find out a little bit more, you can do. And one of the other kind of funny little things that you can do that Mote allows you the option to do is if you just put a colon in and then search, it allows you to add in emojis really quickly, so you could communicate that way if you wanted to. Anyway, hope that was helpful.